I'm Addison.
And I'm Ray, and we're the band Rose-Colored World, and you're watching or listening to Mikey's Untitled Music Show.
Welcome to Mikey's Untitled Music Show. Today, we are going to go ahead and dive into the musical minds of the band Rose-Colored World. How you doing today, guys?
Freaking fantastic.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Today, we're going to get into, where you got your musical creativity, how you guys shaped your musical minds, and then we're going to get into your music also as well. First, what I want to do is I want to introduce you guys and the band. So, Ray, how about you help us out with the members in the band, what they do, and we'll go from there.
So I'm Ray, and I sing in the band. Addison plays guitar, and he also sings. We're both lead. And really, Rose-Colored World is like our love child, our music child. We started it like 4 or 5 years ago, and started writing for it kind of right before the pandemic. Then the pandemic kind of allowed it to soar, having that time to kind of figure out what we wanted to do. And then live, we play with our friend Austin Masserman for bass, and then for drums, Luke Caro. So,
And yeah. And our live band is, I like to think of it as two different things because we've been touring so much, and that's a big way that we bring in fans. So what they do is freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how did Addison, how did Rose-Colored World come about? Like, where did the name come from?
So when Ray and I met, we met the night Tom Petty passed away, actually, at a jam in Hollywood. And we were both doing solo projects. I was helping produce for Ray. And when we first met, we both were wearing I never took mine off. We had like the round pink rose-colored glasses. Literally, my logo was my hair and the glasses, right? And Ray had her own pair. So Ray got booked to play this like backyard super spiritual event. And she asked me to back her up on the event instead of her just playing, with her keys. So we did that. We got off, and people were asking us, "What's your band called?" And we were like, "What?" So
it's kind of like, oh, your band. Like, it was like kind of a moment of like, oh, people like to see us together, and we had fun playing together. And
yeah, so we were in the car about to leave, and she was like, "Do you want to do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "What should we be called?" And we were both wearing the glasses, and what it stood for was, everyone in our lives growing up would always say, "Take off your rose-colored glasses, like look at the world," but And I was like,
be realistic.
"Rose-Colored World," and she was like, "That's freaking
It
great."
was literally the first name you
Yeah,
said.
we never thought
It's
of
like, probably in the glasses. That's kind of cool,
Yeah.
and then it's taken on a whole new life as we've grown into ourselves as like artists and in this project, and also seeing the feedback loop, in the community. It's kind of taken on its own world.
Yeah, and you guys have been we talked a little bit about it earlier, but I found you guys on my feed on your for you my like for you feed on Instagram, and like I saw you guys once, and it was that video of like you two artists that grew up with Green Day, and so and it was hanging on by a thread. I was like, oh hell yeah, dude, this shit sounds good. Like it's catchy, it's nice, And then I was like, cool. So I liked it. And then I kept on getting you guys like on my feed, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. So I went to go like look at more of your music, and like I listened to Cold Day in Hell, and I really like Medicine. Like I really like that message of Medicine, like
Means a
um
lot.
and so I was like, hell yeah, like I need to talk to you guys. But I kind of want to go a little back and kind of see where you guys, started with your musical creativity. Ray, can you tell me one of the earliest memories you have of using your musical creativity, like for your own project?
Oh my gosh. Um, I've never not sang, which I know sounds like kind of crazy. I don't have a conscious memory where like singing or music was not always there. Um, my mom always sang, and my dad's a drummer, and so it was my dad used to have this gig um in Florida on the beach like every single Sunday, and he shredded with a sick band. They did mostly like covers and stuff, but I would see every Sunday there would be like this community that would show up to the beach in like their bathing suits, and they just wanted to like have a few beers and listen to rock and hang out. And I just remember really always looking forward to that throughout my week. And I was like this little girl running around that where my feet wouldn't even hit the floor, but it really did feel like a family, and it was glued together by music, and I loved that, and I wanted to be part of it, and slowly I kind of found my way in it. But that's kind of my earliest memory.
It's funny that you say that because my mom used to. I grew up in like the church in a church setting, so my mom used to sing in the song service, and she had like a little band or like a little like singing band also. But my dad was also a drummer, and he was
My dad was
And
a
his
drummer
drummer
too.
drummer.
oh nice, hell yeah. So like yeah, like he would it was like a Christian band. They were called Dead to Sin, and they would do covers of like The Offspring and Metallica, and they had like some, they would just like change the words up a little bit. But yeah, it was cool when he would allow me to go to band practices because it felt like another little family that you had.
Yeah.
At ours was like every Saturday. So every Saturday I was able to see him, and every Saturday we had like he would play sometimes in the song service and stuff as well, but every Saturday we had something called door night where it was like live music and a drama at the end. So it was cool being able to see him
That's
out there
awesome.
as well, you know. Addison, what's one of the earliest memories you have using your musical creativity?
So I was a drummer first myself. Um, I mean, I want to say the earliest moment. Wow. I don't think it's for drums. I feel like using my creativity, I have a memory of when I was learning how to play guitar and sing, probably when I was 14. And I'm the type of person where, like, she knows this. If I want to do something, like, I have to do it right that second, and I have to figure it out. And I remember trying to figure out how to record music with my parents' computer. And I was looking all this stuff up, but I got home from school and I, recorded my own acoustic song at the time. And that was really creatively satisfying. Next day at school, I'm showing all my friends. They're like, this is terrible. And I'm like, it's okay.
It's gonna be
It's going to be okay. But I recorded this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, like you made something yourself.
Yeah.
Uh, and when you like when you were going through that feeling, was there kind of like a like was that time kind of like, oh, this is after you made that, this is what I want to keep doing? Or did you already have kind of that drive like in you to where you wanted to do music?
Yeah. At that time, I already was like, I don't care about school. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tour. I'm gonna figure. And I mean, there was definitely like a delusional obsession about it, which is what we called our collection of songs when we sell it on the road. We had a CD called Delusional Obsession. But I think you need that when so many people are gonna say to you, go to college, do this, do that, especially where I'm from. And I was like, no, I'm gonna sell out Madison Square Garden, and yeah, I always wanted to do that, and Ray was the same way. I mean, I never met another person through my musical journey that was at that same place where like music comes first, and this is what I do, and I think we were honestly like destined to meet from God, the universe. Like we were made to sing together and to write these songs together. And we just follow, our intuition and the next step. And that's kind of just how we live our lives.
Ray, where do you think that comes from? Like that big want, or where did it come from for you, that big want to, want to do something different and want to, like he said, music comes first. Where did that come from?
I think it's this want to connect that we all have within us. And I think want maybe beyond wanting to connect, wanting to feel seen, wanting to feel heard, wanting to feel appreciated, that any person from any walk of life, no matter what you believe or what you do or who you love or, your habits, we all like crave to feel seen and to feel heard. And I think I realized very quickly that music was like a bridge to do that. It was like this quick, easy across, like, I have a memory singing at my uncle's wedding. I think I was like 9 and I sang a Fleetwood Mac song and I closed my eyes because I was so nervous. And when I opened them, everybody was crying. And I was like, people, old, young, like it didn't matter. And I was like, what the fuck that just happened? Like that's crazy. But I could feel that everybody felt connected in this moment. And so for me, it's like wanting to stay in those moments for as long as I can, as much as I can, with as many people as I can. And that is like the drive because there's so much fucked up shit in the world that like you have to just deal with. So I'm like, if we could create little bridges to do that and we get to do that on the road, it's like the most satisfying
And it's also like the allure and the want of being an artist or a band. It comes with so much that I know I always wanted, right? I wanted a life of freedom, being financially free. I wanted to be not bound to a job where I worked for somebody else, where I could enjoy the moments on earth, right? I was always just so spontaneous and wanting to have fun. And it was always like, well, there's a place for fun, but like you have to do this, right? And then you could have fun and it's like, well, no, what if we just figure out a way to always have fun?
Our yin and yang is so sick because I'm so like, I don't care if it's a Sunday. We need to be like, I am just like always wanting to create because it excites me so much where it's hard for me to rest.
And stay organized and
And like,
schedule.
yeah, and ads
Yeah.
very playful. And so it's great because this perfect yin and yang where when I'm taking myself too seriously, ads like, relax, let's go for a walk, let's laugh, let's,
But before her, I was always in that, and I got a lot of cool opportunities, but it was just based on sort of talent or right place, right time, but I never could get to that next place until I met Ray, because I didn't even know what hard work really was until we met. Um, and then we were able to kind of, figure that out together.
And how did you guys meet? You said you met the night that Tom Petty died. But like what setting were you guys in?
I had just moved to LA a month and a half before this. And um I was partying my ass off. I just got here and had no real responsibilities and no money and just kind of was living on a blow up mattress, living, trying to figure it out. And Tom Petty passed away, and our mutual friend Zach, he invited me to come to this spot in Hollywood. It's called Sassafras. Shout out Sassafras. That's where we met. And Addison walked in after playing a show, and we talked like very briefly, like not even a ton. And he got my number from somebody else in the group. And 2 days later, we started writing together, and like we didn't really stop from then. It was just kind of like, oh, this makes sense. Like we make really good songs together consistently. We're enjoying it. We're enjoying our company together. And it just kind of like made sense to continue
So
writing.
we just kept on going.
That's awesome. Like that's it's cool everybody's like journey, right? Like and it seems like when everybody finally finds the thing that they were meant to do or the thing that, well, yeah, the thing that they were meant to do or the people that they were meant to meet, it just it just happens like smoothly, right? And you don't even
Alignment, like pure alignment.
Well, it's certainly not smooth or linear, but we never stopped, like when we were trying to figure out what we wanted to sound like, what it was gonna look like, what it was gonna feel like, um, we never stopped moving though, like whatever, happened.
And Addison, who's one of your biggest like who's one of your biggest musical influences that kind of like maybe not cemented but like helped in that, this is what I want to do for the rest of my.
I mean, I think when I was exposed to Blink-182, Simple Plan, Green Day, I and then, going into the world and seeing what, when they would release, like, behind the scenes stuff, and you'd see them in the studio, you'd see them before stage, you'd see them on tour, and, um, like, I always loved music, but once I was seeing that side of it, I was like, "Holy shit, like, this is what I wanna do," you know?
Yeah. And Ray, what about you? Who's that big like musical influence for you that, kind of cemented?
It was so interesting because, like I said, my dad exposed me to classic rock so young that that was kind of like my basis before I got into, like the emo subculture and pop punk and any of that stuff. So originally, I remember hearing Pat Benatar for the first time, and like Joan Jett and the Blackhearts and like that kind of stuff, and being like, wait, girls do this too. Like, because it's so the boys club when you think about rock music, even, even still in a lot of ways. And it was just so cool to be like, wait, you can kind of be fierce and demanding and like unapologetic and also be a girl. Like, I like that. So that was like kind of my earliest yes moment.
That's amazing. And so you guys start getting, excuse me, you guys start getting together and you start writing together and you write all these songs. Like, what's that first time, how's that first session like where like you guys, like, how did you say like we need to write together? And how was that first session, like getting
So
it?
we were in my old apartment in a tiny room. I was on a yoga ball,
You didn't even have a chair.
and
Literally, dude.
I didn't have a chair, but it just felt supernatural, like we were just jamming. I was on acoustic, we were writing, and we were like, "This feels good."
I
I don't
at
think I
that
ever really spoke about it.
No, I don't think so either. I handwrite a lot of the sessions, like, in a journal still. When we're doing it with multiple people, I don't because I like to be able to share notes on the notes app and we can all kinda edit in real time. But other than that, if it's just me and Ad, even still, I like to have the notebook. So it's really cool because I still have the first lyrics on the page dated from, like, the very beginning before it was RoseColoredWorld World and it was just, like, us having our session. I have, like, your old handle written in the corner. Like, cause when I was, first moving out here, I was like, I wanna take as many sessions with as many people, like, I'm out here, I wanna do the damn thing, and, sometimes I was taking 2 a day, but once I wrote with Ad, especially at that time, this is actually interesting thinking about it now. Everybody was laptop driven in sessions that I would go to. It would be like, cause think about the time when I met Ad, it was the end of 2017. So like music was very different, what was on the radio, what people were listening to. It was almost like our friend Lenny says it like guitars were illegal on the radio or just like in culture for a bit, unless you were really listening to indie stuff or whatever. But
Yeah.
it was a weird time. And so I remember you picking up an acoustic guitar and me feeling like, "Oh, this is like home base, like, this is easy for me," instead of like, "Do you wanna hear a beat that I have on my laptop?" And it's like, "No, I wanna, like, make music." Like, not that that's not music, but, really start from the beginning, from
Yeah.
a genesis.
And I remember we had the session, and then Ray got, like, some gig, and at the time, she was just playing not just, but she was playing piano and singing, right? That's, like, was the gig, and I remember going to the show and thinking I said to my friend, I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting. She sings like me, like, we sing alike," and then I had another thought of, like, she can be something much bigger than what I'm seeing, right?
Mm.
And, I was right.
Yeah.
Like, got her off the keys, started
I always
his
just
rock songs,
yeah.
and she kills it.
Once I got off the keys, it almost I didn't realize was like it was this divider between me and everybody else, like in the audience at live and that connection. The second that was gone, I was like, wait, I could just, kind of unleash this whole other part of me that I don't even think I knew was fully there. And then all of a sudden it was so like, oh, that's what I should have been doing the whole time. Really crazy.
No, it's beautiful. Like you find the things that you're best at, right? And like the smallest, like the littlest ways. Like, was it a conscious decision to step away from the keys at like while you were playing live?
I remember after I played the study and I got off, and my mom actually came out from Florida for that show, and my best friend was there, and I looked at them and I was like, I'm not getting back on stage unless I have a band. I don't know what that means yet. And this was before Rose Colored World. I was like, I just don't want to just have it be me up there doing these things. Like I want it to be like a shared experience. I want to jam. I want to have those moments. I want to maybe, and at the beginning, I was like, maybe I'll be on keys for like half the set. And I think what'll be cool is when we headline, like actually bringing them out for a song, and like when it's a bigger show and having a moment that's like a little more down, but not being glued to it feels very freeing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love your presence. Like the videos that I've watched up there, both of you guys, like you have stage presence. Like you you get me like I want to keep watching the video because of like how you guys are moving and how I see how you guys are just like I rocking to the music, like you can tell you feel the music. And for somebody that's I really enjoy watching artists enjoy what they're doing, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. I don't
Yeah,
know,
me
like
too.
you can tell that, somebody's enjoying that that thing that, they love to do. And when you see that, it's beautiful because, like this is what I love to do. Like I love speaking to artists and I love, talking about music and, where it comes from. And it makes me feel like nice and happy, you know what I mean? So like I know I'm feeling that way when I'm doing this. You guys make me feel like fucking
Yeah, our
great.
favorite thing is to perform. We love writing songs. We love, all of it, but we love
Yeah.
playing shows and touring and yeah.
I always say before we go out because Ad has a lot of tech things that he has to think about. And me, I'm like kind of priming my mind to be like a ringleader up there and like really get into that headspace to step into that. And so we're both kind of in this crazy, downloading process for like the couple hours before. But right before we step out, I always say to Addison and the boys, let's just have fun. Because at that moment, everything is already done. Now all we have to do is do what we love and kind of remembering that right before all we have to do is have a good time.
And I think what I
Everything else, like even if shit gets set on fire,
yeah, we just gotta
we gotta just fucking have a good time and keep it
I
going.
had this thought. So early on in Rose Colored World's career, we coming out of COVID, we got a before anybody knew who we were, we had a residency at Six Flags Magic Mountain. And we did like
100
minute
sets.
set.
It was like 130-minute sets in 60 days.
Yeah. And that got us
Like a
obviously
boot camp.
so tight. But
Yeah.
I remember playing that show and being, every night before we went on stage, Ray would be like, all right, let's just have fun. And we'd fist pump. And then after that, we were playing all these small rooms like Tattoo Shop, wherever anybody asked us to play for like a year in LA, we said,
Yeah.
yes, right? And then fast forward, we're backstage about to go on at a sold out Wiltern show with the Used a few weeks ago. And
That's fucking
our
amazing.
intro music's playing and me and Ray are off stage and she just looks at me. She's like, all right, let's have a good time. And it was just like, damn, man, like
That's
we
fucking
really
awesome.
built this thing up.
Yeah.
There's a guy back there, I didn't know this, and his whole job in that moment is to shine a light so that you don't trip at like the big stages. And I have never had a light guy.
Yeah, this is amazing.
So he goes out first and he does it for him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've never had somebody make sure I don't trip. What is this? I'm like, this is a real deal.
But it's just
Yeah.
to be super grateful and a message to anybody out there that just keep going because if you believe in something and you just keep pushing, like it's got to be somebody. Why not you? Why not me?
And that's a big that's a big thing that got me over the hump of actually starting this thing. Also, that question, or like that question to myself, like, why not me?
Yeah.
Like at first, like I've talked about this on the show before, but this past December, I had like a big breakdown in confidence, a big breakdown in confidence, and I like had to think with my wife, like, who fucking cares, like nobody cares about me, like kind of just like putting myself down a lot. And then after I had that like little thing, I go to the back, I have a smoke, and I'm just like, why not you, bro? Like, why not?
And it's so
And
easy to think that way when you feel like you're here, right? And then you're not looking at the middle or any part of the journey, and then you see Joe Rogan or you see like these massive, right, people, or for us, you see the big bands, but
yeah.
it's like when I'm on a hike. You don't wanna look at the top of the mountain that you're walking up to.
Mm,
You wanna look what makes it easier? You just look at the next step.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you look back and you're like, "Holy shit, we just climbed up a fucking mountain."
Yeah.
And, I try to think of that always, and, like, we look back now, we're just taking steps, right, every day. And then I look back to be present and be like, "Damn, in the last year we played with Sum 41, we played 70 shows last year, we just played with The Used." And but if you just, like if we're at Six Flags and I'm just like, how are we ever gonna play the Wiltern? Like, that's
Mm,
fucking crazy. Nobody
yeah.
else, nobody cares, you know?
Something I've learned too, like aside from music, is I'm studying neuroplasticity on the side because I really am super fascinated about how the mind works and how we
Mm,
create things because the more
mm,
I learn, the more I can share. And something I learned is that like the cells in our body are listening to us 24/7 and we're consciously programming ourselves every second of every day, mostly subconsciously. We run on like a programming. So it's like just like a computer system, if we can rewire and fire, our minds, it's really crazy what we're capable of.
Yeah, we've literally manifested all of this.
We believe what we tell ourselves. So, like, something that I love to say, especially in high level situations or in, when I get like that, because bet your ass on a post tour blues, I'm like, am I ever gonna go out again? Nobody loves like the shit
mhm,
that we think about, right? I go, everything that I could possibly want wants me more. Of course it does, because I wouldn't have this desire if it didn't want me back. And
mm,
need that and visualizing like, okay, well, when you have the podcast fucking setup of your dreams, what does that look like? And get excited about it. But it's hard when you're dealing with bills and real life things and your own mind telling you the opposite of what the truth is. But the truth is you can have anything you
Yeah,
ever want.
and what I will say is when you start seeing the manifestations that you've been calling in start to come in, right? Then it's easier because you go, like, what if I told you with 100% certainty that you can have the biggest music podcast in the world? Like, just based on you wanting it because it's already like there for you. I'm going to be like, oh, then I would rather be this way and think this way and, live in my gratitude and continue the next right thing.
yeah, and you have to make those little sacrifices also of time. That's the biggest thing that why people don't start anything is because it takes time. It takes time for you to get from one's like when you first start something like this, like it takes like super baby steps, and I'm learning that also. But like you said, like you kind of have to, say it out loud and believe that this is gonna happen, right? But it's gonna take time. It takes so much
Oh,
time.
yeah. But you either wanna do it or you need to do it, right? There's 2 different types of people, and we need to do this.
We really saw that in the in the pandemic.
Mhm.
It was like I wasn't okay not like understanding that there was no live music happening in the world because I know that's medicine and that's my medicine and it's so many and that was like
My medicine too.
so it was so like what do you mean, and so it's a need and we ended up going to Florida for a bit and I we built like a studio on my mom's place for a bit and made like 12 songs so we were like we just have to be able to continue to connect and feel through that.
And I think so many people nowadays forget what the point is of being a musician in a band or an artist, because you can get so lost in the content and the social media aspect, but it's like the great song needs to come first, right?
Mhm.
So I feel like so many people are making fast food music so that
Mhm.
they then can do the other thing. And we try to, you know, make a nice 5-star steak. That's what we try. I mean, you don't know if,
Yeah.
but and then, because I feel like it's either way. There's some bands that are so artistic, but then they're like, "Fuck content, it's stupid," right? Those are like the real musicians. And then you have the other side where it's like, "Come on, we gotta make a song because we gotta make the content." And we're trying to be both. We're trying to love the music we make and put the care in it. And then we're not opposed, obviously. Our music reached you because of the content, right?
Mhm.
And that's beautiful.
That's
It's
also if
amazing.
the song was shitty, you would swipe because it wouldn't be something that made you want to keep listening, you know? So
Yeah.
it like we're saying it's gotta be both. I was so anti-content at the beginning. Especially I was like, we have fucking TikTok and we have all these million apps. Like I just want to
But
rip
I
shows.
just kept pushing.
He kept pushing. And once we reframed it where we're like, okay, we get to actually create whatever the fuck we want.
Mm.
Like once I real like it doesn't have to be anything that I see that is anything other than what we want it to be. And like we were saying, how things take time. We've been posting on TikTok and on platforms since 2019, 2020. It is 2025.
And it's only been within the year that TikTok, I mean, we had 6,000 followers a year ago. We're about to hit 100,000. And literally Instagram, it only happened in the last 3 weeks
Minimum.
that
It started
Instagram started pushing us. Like, we were posting for so long, and
different types of things.
we would slowly grow, but I'm saying, like, it wasn't pushing it out the way, I mean, the video that you saw that's still going, it has almost 700,000 views. Like,
Just
that wasn't happening.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So
And yeah, and I'm kind of like I I'm trying not to be discouraged also, and I'm trying to be patient because how my mind it's kind of like you, like how my mind works with like if I want something, I need to just fucking go get like I need to get it, you know what I mean? So it's not that it's not I know it's taking the time that it's supposed to be taking right now because I haven't even been doing this for 6 months.
oh,
Like
yeah.
I think I hit my 6 months on June 1st. I started the podcast in
Congratulations.
January. Thank you. Thank you.
You can't be in the beginning, our whole
Yep.
thing was, "Okay, listen, we're gonna put out music, we're gonna put out content, we're not gonna pay attention to one single number. We're gonna just put it out, and put it out, and put it out, and put and then, oh, wow, this video got 20,000 views?" And you're
Yeah.
like, "That's freaking sweet," right? But you can't pay attention to that because 'cause you're just gonna feel discouraged, like,
Well,
Yeah.
wow. You never know when and how and why and where. Like we would have never thought at the beginning it was going to be hanging on, right? Like
this song's been out what?
it's about to hit a year that song came out, and now this is where it's crazy. Is the song came out the day we left for our first tour, like big fucking tour with the Dangerous
Yeah.
Summer. And so we were just trying to stay alive on the road, and our RV was breaking down, and we were just like, we have 26 shows and we need to make sure we get there. We weren't like, oh, let's create a ton of content for this song because we needed to be like laser focused. And a month ago, we were in Laguna Beach and we were hanging out and we started realizing it was like summertime again. And I was like, hanging on feels like a summer song. And I was like, yeah, it feels like a summer song. Let's post a piece. And all of a sudden we started seeing the internet like be like, this
Yeah,
is
so it first went on
a map.
TikTok, and they're like, "Okay, we just posted 5 videos of the intro of Hanging On, and
They're all like,
they're all going. So let me try this on Instagram too." And
I was like, TikTok's a different thing. You know, the stories we tell ourselves, right?
Yeah.
out, it's exactly the same. Like, post a reel, it's the same thing. But it was really cool to see a song that I love that song. I didn't think
Yeah.
that it was like, could do this, but I think it's all right time, right place, lightning in a bottle, and you don't even know, right?
That song was a fucking gift from the universe.
It was. It was.
I had a
It's
super natural, weird download to it and then took it to a whole other place. But I was about to work out one day in the living room and I went to put the mat down. And as I put it down, my hang like it all like came at me. Like it was almost like I was in my flow state because I was about to move my body and I wasn't thinking about anything other than just like, and I grabbed my voice memo app and I ran outside and I
You didn't
recorded.
tell me. I have a fond memory of.
Wait,
Yeah.
so I record the memo on my phone, put it away. Don't say anything. Don't say anything to Addison. I just like have this whole idea, right? And we went out that night and we're out on the town.
We were walking back to our parked car up a hill in LA, and Ray was like, I had this download, and it's like, hang it. And I was
I
like,
was like, wait, let me show you.
I was going, Dana, Dana. The next day, we recorded the whole song.
It was just like a boom. And I've had a couple of those moments, but this one was so like we said, a need. I was like, where's my phone? I need to record this.
We didn't write a bridge to that song, and we collaborated with our friend Tom Denny, who was a founding member of A Day to Remember. And we left the bridge open because he's like the breakdown guy.
Yeah, he's the breakdown.
And I was like, hey, there's no bridge, just make whatever you want. Then he sent it back to us.
Like, oh,
he wrote over that part, and that song was done.
Yeah, he also co-produced the entire EP.
And he mixed the whole
and
EP,
mixed it.
yeah.
That's awesome. Like, see, that's why I like doing this, dude. Like, cause like you hearing about things like that, like it's crazy how ideas just come to us, right? Like how it just kind of like smacks you in the face, and it just comes from nowhere. I love that. Like the first, so I'm kind of gonna go a little back to the first song that I see that not that I listened to, but that I saw that you guys put out on Spotify, at least that it has right there on Spotify, is Walking on the Sun.
Yeah.
I really like that song as well. Like you guys' style from Walking on the Sun, Kissing a Stranger, High, like it's all like it's all like that stuff is a little different, but it's you guys, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, I don't know how else to like to say it out like or to explain it, but like your style, you know. I really like those songs as well. Like, what do you think it is about, um, like maybe like this new style that you guys, or I don't even want to call it like style, like your new sound that you guys kind of have with this EP. What do you think it was like that kind of bridged the gap between, because those songs are bangers too, guys. Like your old
Thank you.
songs, like
Well,
they're
I think if you look at it like this, those songs were pre-COVID, and then
mm,
all the new stuff was post-COVID. And there were actually songs before that that the world won't hear, but that were out that we pulled. So we first started as an electro alt pop duo, and um, and then we made the decision. We're like, man, what are we doing? Like, we love rock music, like that's who we are. And then we wrote Walking on the Sun, and that was like the first song that was it was pivotal because it was the step into the band sound, right? And then COVID happened and we weren't freaking happy and we weren't bubbly. And Ray came downstairs one day and she said, "Hey,"
This was like 2 months into COVID.
she's like, "I give you full permission to write music how you did when you were 16 years old." And I'm like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." And then we started writing all the new stuff, like Torn in Two, and
Torn in Two started, it wasn't COVID related and I'm fine. But it was like a weird freak thing where I had to go to the hospital in the middle of COVID. And it was like just a really weird day, a really weird time. And Addison picked up the acoustic guitar and started writing Torn in Two, which was the beginning of like the new era of like whatever 12 songs we've put out since then.
yeah, and you
Whatever.
could hear like I love hearing the evolution because
yeah.
we produced everything that's out pretty much or co-produced.
Sorry.
And no, you're good. And you could hear we were, learning as we were going, like Torn in Two or 27 or No One's Home to now and then beyond. Like the EP was, by the way, done like a year and a half ago. So we've had half of a full length album finished for a while. And then we had a C mark. Yeah, it was a good mark. Then we had a lot of stuff happen. We signed with Velocity Records, which was Dave Shapiro's record label, rest in peace, who just passed away.
Yeah.
And in December, Dave decided to close the label. So we got signed, negotiated for 9 months, signed for 9 months. Dave let us out of our deal. And 3 weeks before he passed, he officially released us, which was a blessing.
And then we started going.
And then we started going viral, and then Dave passed away. But if it wasn't for Dave, I just want to give a shout out. Like, he believed in us when nobody else would. And a lot of why we're here is due to Dave's belief. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we got signed from Dave believing in us, but once I started talking to people right before we signed and like really made that decision, we call him the rock and roll mayor because everybody has either worked with him or like our favorite bands forever, from like Pierce the Veil to Sleeping with Sirens to like, if you think of a band in the scene, Davis had a hand in their career, and hearing their stories, I was like, wow, like this in the best way wasn't unique to us. Like, he's the one who really fostered the scene.
Yeah, like what he did for us, it's crazy. He's done for like the bands that we all love wouldn't exist without Dave going, I know you guys don't have management, I know you don't have a label, but I see it. And
I mean, I think we had like 8,000 or 9,000 monthly listeners or something.
yeah, like we had no business opening for Sum 41,
Yeah.
right? But that opportunity came because Dave was like, we're gonna put Rose-Colored World
Yeah.
on the show.
So shout out to Dave and everybody at Sound Talent.
And everybody that we lost that day. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I heard about it. I live here in San Diego, and
Wow.
yeah, so I kind of just heard that there was like a plane crash.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man. And then I had found out who was in the plane crash, and I was like, dang. But I didn't realize, like there's a lot of people that, I mean, I didn't know who he was, but like there's a lot of people behind the scenes that a lot of us as fans don't really get to
Yeah.
remember or don't really get to know, because they are behind the scenes, and like, they do help out the bands behind the scenes, but it seems like he was very loved. The outpour, like for this guy, like he's like, it seemed like he was very loved and he helped out a lot of people. And I'm sure he's in, a better place right now. And it's
Yeah,
good
we got
though,
a
like,
legend in the sky now.
Yeah.
yeah, and he was able to plant something inside of you as well. So his memory lives on in all of you guys, right? So that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So like you said, you had the EP, or you've had the EP all done. Like, were you trying to? Did you know that you were gonna have a collection of songs to make this EP, like already beforehand?
We definitely wanted to have a collection of songs for an EP, and we wrote a lot more than we released. But we got to these songs in this order, and starting with Cold Day in Hell and ending with The Medicine was very on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we started, really in this cold day and how like feeling like in the middle of COVID, everything in LA and California is shut down. Just feeling like, are we ever going to feel joy again? Are we ever going to play live again? Like real grief. And then through it, you get to Medicine where there's like this hope. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so we did. And that's why we named the EP Beauty and the Breakdown, because you have to go through hell to get out from under yourself and get to the other side and learn that lesson. And it's like you climb the mountain and then there's a higher one and you just continue, that journey. And so, it was kind of just our hero's journey of that time. And we are like, these five make the most sense to tell the story, that feel cohesive together, that feel like
But we are excited for y'all to hear the new shit.
yes.
So the last question I like to ask guys, I don't know if you've ever kind of talked about this as a band or maybe like your personal, but what is Rose Colored World's message to the world? We'll start with Ray.
Rose-Colored World's message is anyone from any walk of life is celebrated and seen and heard in our world. At the shows, you're free to mosh, scream, cry, and it's a very inclusive community of just awesome people who love the genre and want to help make this place better while we're here.
Love that.
You have anything to add? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's about feeling safe and feeling not alone. So many bands when I was younger, I would feel like nobody cared about me or I was being bullied. And I would hear a record like The Used or Taking Back Sunday, and we want to have that energy encoded into our music, so that you're just, for 45 minutes when you're at a show, you're not thinking about shit and you just want to sing these words with us. And we hope that our music makes people feel better or less alone after listening.
That's beautiful. Well, Rose-Colored World, Ray, Addison, thank you so much for joining me.
So much.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Where can we find your music?
On any platform, if you just type in Rose-Colored World, all one word, you will find our faces.
Perfect. And like I said, again, thank you guys so much for doing this. You're following me along my musical journey. And like we say at the end, everybody, remember, be safe and be great. We share because we care.
Yes. Much love, brother.